Good morning, dear students. Now we discuss about the consumer's equilibrium. The consumer's equilibrium was developed by Alfred Marshall through cardinal utility analysis. It is also called as law of equimarginal utility. But the consumer's equilibrium was developed by J.R. Hicks through ordinal utility analysis. Consumer's equilibrium. Consumer is consumer's equilibrium is when the commodities that consumer wants to get are equal to the commodities got. Consumer's equilibrium was explained by J.R. Hicks with the with two aspects through ordinal utility analysis. These two aspects are indifference map and budget line or price line. The indifference map indicates the combinations of goods that the consumer wants to get or consumer's preference. Budget line. Budget line or price line indicates the combinations of goods that consumer can get. As indifference curves, as we are human beings, we have so many wants. These wants are fulfilled with the help of goods and services. In consumption, every consumer has a scale of preference. In this scale of preference, consumer have some combinations of goods. These combinations of goods, some may give more satisfaction and some may give less satisfaction. In the indifference curves analysis is based on same satisfaction giving combinations, that in the same satisfaction giving combinations consumer is not show any difference among them. So these combinations are indifference indifference curve. Indifference curve is derived by joining shows various combinations of goods which gives the same satisfaction to the consumer is called indifference curve. X good shown on x-axis, y good is shown on y-axis. The combinations A, B, C, D, E and F are combinations that are same satisfaction giving combinations. These points, when we joining these combinations shows points, we can get indifference curve. In this diagram, I see one is indifference curve, indifference map. Indifference map is locus of various indifference curves representing various levels of satisfaction to the consumer. This is indifference map. In this indifference map, IC1, IC2, IC3, IC4 are indifference curves. A, B, C combinations on IC1. These are same satisfaction giving combinations. D and E combinations on IC2 curve gives same satisfaction to the consumer, but the combinations D and E on IC2 are giving more satisfaction than combinations of A, B and C on IC1. Combination of E on IC3 is giving more satisfaction than IC1 and IC2 combinations. And G combination on IC4 is giving most satisfaction than the IC1, IC2, IC3 combinations. Budget line. Budget line or price line shows the combinations of goods with consumer can buy. These combinations of goods and goods which consumer can get is depend upon income of the consumer and prices of the goods. Budget line. If a consumer's income is 50 rupees, price of good X is 10 rupees, price of good Y is 5 rupees, then the combinations can get the consumer can get is shown in this table. The combinations A, B, C, D, or F consumer can get with his income, he can get all these any one of these combination. Price line or budget line. X good is shown on X axis, Y good is shown on Y axis. The combinations A, B, C, D, E and F can get by consumer. These combinations shows points joining. By joining we can get budget curve. Consumer can get any combination of goods with his income at their prices within OAB quantity. He cannot buy I combination. The slope of the budget curve or price line depends upon the ratio of prices good X and Y good, that is Px by Py. Consumer's equilibrium. Consumer's equilibrium is when commodities that the consumer wants to get are equal to commodities that consumer's equilibrium was explained by J.R. Hicks with the two basic conditions that are budget line and price line or price line should be tangent to the indifference curve. The marginal rate of substitution should equal to the ratio of price ratio. In this diagram, IC1, IC2, IC3 are indifference curves. AB is budget curve. The AB budget curve and IC2 indifference curve are tangent at the point E. Consumer is on equilibrium at point E. He get on the equilibrium point X good, OM and ON Y good. Consumer's equilibrium is equal marginal rate of substitution is equal price ratio MRS of x for y is equal px by py. At the point E, MRS of x for y is equal px by py. Expansion of path, income changes, consumer's income changes. If the consumer's income increases, the consumer get more satisfaction with higher con- combination he can get when he can get. At the beginning, consumer's equilibrium is E. When consumer's income increases, the new price line or budget line formed as A1B1. Consumer's equilibrium shifts from E to E1. After some time, consumer's income increases. If increases, the new budget line formed as A to P2. Consumer's equilibrium shifts from E1 to E2. More increase in consumer's income, the consumer can attain more satisfaction giving combinations. So consumers can get and shifts his equilibrium E2 to E3. These equilibrium points shows the expansion path of consumer's equilibrium. This is some information about equilibrium, consumer's equilibrium through indifference curves analysis. Thank you. Wish you all.